Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to be making the flashlight in our tutorial called Revolve Curves in Rhino. In order to do that, I'm just going to be following along the text, but I'm going to add a video to this to try to help you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Help menu. When we click on Rhino, you can see up here at the top of the screen there's a Help menu, and we're going to click on Learn Rhinoceros and then go to Tutorials and Samples. And when you do that, down here in this panel there's a little cap, like a cap and gown cap, like a graduation cap. That's for learning. We're going to go to the Tutorials section and go to User's Guide, and today we're going to go to flashlight.3dm. Go ahead and double click on that, and it will open a new file, and that file looks like this. It doesn't look like much, but it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dots, 6 points right in the middle of the front viewport. Alright, we're only going to need at this point in time to start with the front viewport enabled. So go ahead and turn on Smart Track and turn off Ortho and Grid Snap. The only one that should be on is Smart Track. And then we're going to run the grid command. So type grid and hit return, and make this a little bit bigger. You can resize those at any time. And when we do that, I'm just reading here, we're going to uncheck show grid, and we are going to uncheck show grid axes. So now we just have a blank space with 6 points. Alright, next we're going to go and we're going to hit return. Next we're going to hold down the command button and click on the point check on the object snap control. So we're going to click on persistent, and we're going to make sure point is on there, just like that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to type add guide. And remember, as soon as you start typing ADD, as soon as add guide appears in blue when it's highlighted, you can go ahead and click the return button. You don't have to add that in there. So we're going to snap to a point. One of the reasons why we have the point on is when we get close to the point, you can see that it locks in right there. All right. Now these intersections are actually already created for us, so you could add any guide you want in here. So if you wanted a guideline that looked like that or like this, obviously if you hit shift it will go up and down. We could put a guideline in there, and that's kind of the same thing we did in Rhino, but it actually appears like those guides are already in there for us. And if you didn't want one, you can just start typing remove guide, and there's your remove guide function right there, and you can hit escape to undo that. Next we're going to come over here to the layer panel. This is the layer panel, and you can see here, if you resize this, there's 2 different layers here. There's a default layer, and then there's a points for guide layer. We're going to make sure that the default layer is on, which is right here, and we're going to make sure that we can see our points for guides layer. Next we're going to go up to the curve menu, and we're going to click on freeform, and we're going to go to control points. We're going to set the degree to 3, so if it's not there, and then persistent close we're going to turn off, so everything looks like it's right. Now we're in the front viewport, and what we're going to do here is start to create the profile, the outside curve for our flashlight. So I'm going to click once here, and you can see it's going to snap to that point. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click on that point and then move it a little bit to the right, move it down a little bit, move that handle down here just a little bit, go through this point, use my right mouse button to recenter everything here, All right, and I'm going to make my way up to that point and move over. I'm going to click there and click here and click here to create a little loop. Click there and click there. When I'm all done with this right here, I'm going to hit the return button, and that's going to finish my curve. Kind of looks like a, I don't know what it looks like. It looks like a shark, but we're going to make this thing into a, we're going to revolve it here in just a moment. The next thing we're going to need to do is draw the lens profile curve. So we're going to do the same thing, go back to curve and go to freeform and go to control points. And we're going to hold the command button. No, we're not. We're just going to hit the start of curve. We're going to click here, and then we're going to click here and here and all the way down to create a small profile curve that looks like that. When you're done with your profile curve, click return. All right, next what we're going to need to do is we are going to offset to create an inner lens profile curve. So I'm going to select this curve here, and I'm going to go up to the curve menu and go find offset, and we're going to offset that curve, and we're going to offset that curve a distance of 1.5, and we're going to hit return. And we can offset it so it makes it look like it goes to the right or to the left, but it's always in that tangent direction. So I'm going to hit return and return. Whoops, it didn't work. So I'm going to hit the space bar to recall that, and I'm going to click. There we go. I hit return when I should have clicked. So if you missed that, you're going to select that. You're going to go to the curve, offset, offset curve, and then make sure this is set. Your distance is set to 1.5, and click on the inside of that. So this is what your current model should look like. All right, next what we're going to do is we're going to connect the inner and outer lens profile curves by going up here to the curve menu, and we are going to go to line and go to single line, and we are going to zoom in, and we are going to connect to, keep this in mind, let's go uncheck point and click end on, and what that'll do is that'll snap to the end of the line. So we want those to be connected. Next, we're going to select this lens curve, hold the shift button, select that and that. Remember, we do that while we're holding the shift button. And we're going to go to the edit menu, and we're going to click join. Remember that we can just type join as well, and that works the same exact way, but it's just important to know that all of these tools are here for you. What that means now is that these lines, the outer curve, the little single line, and the inner offset curve now behave like one unit. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to build the body. So if we go back to this one right here, we can go to ZEA and hit return. That means zoom extents all. We're going to right click on the perspective viewport, and we're going to turn that to shaded, which it already is, which is awesome. Okay. So now we're going to select the body and the lens profile curve. So I'm going to draw a box from the right to the left, and actually I want to turn off the points. I don't want those points as part of it. I'm going to select the body of the flashlight and the lens of the flashlight, and go up here and turn our history on, turn our smart track off, and now I'm going to go to the surface menu, and I'm going to choose revolve. And now it asks me, this is the prompt here. It says start of revolve axis. And in order to do the start of the revolve axis, I'm going to go to the front profile, and I have to have end enabled. And I'm going to click on one side, and I'm going to go over here and click on the other one. And what that'll do is, you can see here, that will give us a line, and in the perspective viewport, it will mimic taking that shape, that profile curve, and revolving it around the line that we just drew right there. So again, all I'm doing is I'm just going around and around and around. Over here it says the start angle. Right here, we're just going to do the full circle command. And when we do that, our flashlight takes shape in 3D. Here's what it looks like now in the front, the top, and the right viewport. And there's our flashlight. Alright, at any point in time we can come in here and we can take this, we can take and edit these curves here. Whoops, I don't want to do that. I want to edit this curve. So if you see something and it doesn't look right, or maybe you want to flatten out certain portions of it, you can do that. And notice how over here in my flashlight, in my perspective viewport, as I move this and change it, then notice how it looks. So we can edit it there. Maybe perhaps you'd like that handle to be a little flatter. That would be good. Or kind of looks like a wine glass here, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's just how it is. So when you're done, you can change that however you like. Whatever looks good for you, that's going to be good for me. Alright, and now we're essentially done. This is your model. What I'd like you to do now is I'd like you to figure out how to add a button to it. Remember, a button is just a cylinder. We can add a button to it and put a little on-off button. You might even try to add some text to it. Or another thing that we can do is we can take and we can find a picture of a flashlight online. And I've done that right here. Let me show you what I've done. I went and downloaded, I found a picture of this flashlight, and if we rotated it sideways, you can see this pretty clearly, but we can potentially, we could do it with the same thing here. So you could grab a screen grab of this right now, and we could copy the profile of this exact flashlight, and we could actually make this flashlight with all the little ribs and everything in there. So that would be a great exercise to do. When you do that, the way that you get it in here is you use what's called a background bitmap. So I'll show you how to do that really quick. This is going to be a feature we're going to use here in the short term. So if you start typing background bitmap, or you go up to view, it's in the view menu, you can go to background bitmap and choose place. This one I'm going to go to the desktop, and I'm going to find my screenshot of my flashlight, which is right there, and I'm going to open it, and then it's going to ask me, let's drop it in the top viewport, and I'm going to click once to place the first corner, and I'm going to click twice to place the second corner. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through the same exact things that I went through, although I'm going to have to click done. So I'm going to have to trace this. Now remember, I only want to trace half of it. So if I were going to trace it, what I would do is I would grab the curve tool, or go up to curve and do freeform and control points, and I would start right in the middle of this. Let's just say that's the middle, and I would click along this edge. Okay, the closer my curves are, the closer my dots are going to have to be. The longer and straighter the curve is, the further I can get these out. Right here, it would be great to hit return because I'm going from what looks like everything right here is curved. Right here, we enter a spot where everything is at 90 degrees. So I'm going to hit return right here, and then I'm going to go up here and grab the line tool or the polyline tool. If you missed that, there's the polyline tool is right there. So now with end turn on, remember I have to have end turn on. I'm going to go straight down, and in this one I could actually turn on ortho. And now we'll go down, right, up, right, down, and you're going to create this profile curve right here. I can use my right mouse button at any point in time and recenter that. Now right here it's going to start to get a little curvy again, so I'm going to hit return, go grab my curve tool, make sure end is turned on in the O snaps, we call that, in the object snaps. I'm going to turn off ortho, and I'm just going to come down here and click along. If I zoom really close in, it looks like it's kind of this gray area. Anywhere close to there will work. Here again, I'm getting close to an area that's all 90-degree angles, so I'm going to grab my polyline tool and turn on ortho. Make sure it snaps to the end. If we were going to do this really specific, we could do an array tool where every single one of these is super precise. I have no idea what comes up next, but let's turn off ortho and let's turn on that. And we're going to start making this profile curve. If you want to do this with the polyline tool only, that's fine. With ortho on, that's fine as well. You have creative liberty over this. And here we are going to make these ribs. So your goal is to take the same exact flashlight I'm doing and do your best to mimic this one. Use the same commands for the revolve. You can even, when you're all done, go and paint it up and use the textures. Alright, so that's our activity. Hope you guys enjoyed following along. This is our flashlight in Rhino tutorial.